It was in 1972 that North Vietnam and the Viet Cong launched a major offensive against the South, hoping to end the war once and for all. It took place in the spring of 1972 and became known as the Easter Offensive. Some 200,000 VC and NVA were involved in this attack. Now, by this time, there were only 95,000 American troops in South Vietnam, and of them, only 6,000 were combat troops. The rest were in support missions. Again, some units of the South Vietnamese army fought well, but in other areas fell back. It was largely through the use of U.S. air power that this offensive was stopped, with heavy losses for the North Vietnamese. The North Vietnamese army lost about 100,000 troops in this attack, in this failed offensive, versus about 25,000 for South Vietnam. It appears that this failed spring offensive, more than anything else, convinced North Vietnam to agree to negotiations in earnest. And after a number of months of discussions, in January of 1973, the two Vietnams and the United States signed an agreement, a provision of which said that the U.S. would remove any remaining forces from South Vietnam within 60 days of a ceasefire. Now, President Nixon made clear to President Thieu that if that agreement was broken and North Vietnam attacked the South, the United States would respond, as he put it, with full force. Members of Congress had a different view of things. For members of Congress, hold on a second. We gave the president a blank check under the Gulf of Tonkin resolution to use U.S. military forces in Vietnam. The end result was to mire us in a very unpopular war. We are not going to let that happen again. So lawmakers in 1973 passed the War Powers Resolution, which restricted the ability of the president to send U.S. military forces abroad without congressional approval. In short, what lawmakers had done is they had nullified the Gulf of Tonkin resolution. They had made it clear to the president, we, the members of Congress, are going to have a greater say over what you, the president, does with our armed forces.